All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Although they have lost their last game, it was a close game, Nick, and I think they are still squarely on the territory as a team on the rise. They've been playing better and better. Justin Fields looks like a guy. He looks like the guy. He is him, as they say nowadays. But Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears on offense are looking phenomenal, and they just need to get a couple things right on the defensive side of the ball, Nick. And this is going to be a team that gives people trouble down the stretch. But, Nick, we got to know, before we get into our story of a guy on the defensive side of the ball that we think is going to be a star player for the Chicago Bears fans, let us know in the comments below, who is a nice young player on this team that you have seen really start to grow, that you're very interested in, and who you think is going to be a star going forward. Let us know in the comments below, which young player are you keeping your eye on? But, Nick, what do you got on the Bears?
So obviously the Chicago Bears, they traded veterans, Robert Quinn, they traded Roquan Smith. Whenever you make moves like that, sometimes you're just saying, hey, we're just going to give the young guys some playing time, see if anyone's going to emerge as a playmaker. And to a lot of people's surprises, undrafted free agent Jack Sanborn, the local guy, has come out and been an absolute force. This is a guy who's worked his way into the starting lineup. According to Forbes.com, after having 7 solo tackles and 50 snaps against Miami, he earned his starting job last week, and he was an absolute baller. He had 12 tackles, which led his team his first 2 career sacks. He also is now he's actually in the top 10 for Bears with tackles so far this season with 24. And only rookie safety Jaquan Brisker has more sacks, and Roquan Smith, who's gone, of course, who's no longer on the team, than his 2 with 2.5 and 3 respectively. But I think the other thing people forget about this game is that Sanborn actually had a critical interception of Jared Goff. It was unfortunately called back as a penalty. If that penalty didn't occur, which I think was kind of questionable, it would have been an even bigger play. Coach Eberflus after the game was really high praise on Sanborn. What he's doing was really impressed with his headiness, his intensity, his energy, the way he played to the crowd. Everyone loved what he was doing for this football team. And when you look at stories like Sanborn, when you look at kind of a rebuilding, restructuring, reloading team that the Bears have been, these are the kind of guys that can kind of jumpstart that and get things going in the right direction. Because sometimes, you have your high draft picks, you have the Justin Fields, right? You have your big time weapons, whether it's Mooney, you have Jaquan Brisker, who's a higher draft pick for them, who looks like he's going to be an absolute stud. But sometimes it's these guys that weren't drafted or were low draft picks that come out and make big plays and just kind of win the team over and win the city over. And Jack Sanborn looks like one of those guys. This guy is an absolute playmaker coming out of Wisconsin. No one saw this guy coming, but right now he is probably the best linebacker on this football team and one of their better defenders, obviously, with his performance last week. And I think going forward, he's going to continue to be a force and continue to just impress everyone.
And yeah, Nick, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said they move off guys like Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith, generational talent at linebacker. Obviously, contract negotiations breaking down. They want to try to get as much as they could for him. So they move off them, unload him to the Baltimore Ravens. And that is squarely because of a guy like Sanborn. We talk about it, Nick. They don't move guys up to be starters unless they're doing stuff in practice. They're standing out in practice. They're a guy that you see making plays all the time and that you trust could come into the lineup and make a difference. So they must have felt comfortable moving off of Smith because a guy like Sanborn is waiting in the wings. He can cover over in the linebacker position, even though he might not play exactly the same position. They thought that they could move pieces around, and this backing core of the Bears could be a solid enough unit without a guy like Roquan Smith there. So I like what I see out of Sanborn so far. Limited play, but Nick, they played the Lions last week, and the Lions have a good offensive line.
100%.
Like, it's a really strong unit. So to get 2 sacks and a ton of tackles against a Lions team, Sanborn's got the stuff, Nick, and I think he's going to be a surprisingly good player for the Chicago team.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not just his play, it's his mentality, right? There's all this reports. This is from ChicagoBears.com. He's talking about Sanborn. He's still trying to appreciate the small moments of going from an undrafted rookie to leading the Bears in tackle leading the Bears in tackles while knowing Chicago's quote was where I kind of wanted to be. You know, you got Sanborn here, who's obviously a local guy from the area. He loves being in Chicago. He loves the fans. He loves the environment. He's not taking it for granted. He's a humble guy, obviously being an undrafted free agent. So just his mentality, you know, just appreciating the games, appreciating the opportunity can be a driving force on a defense. Let's face it, with Roquan Smith gone, with Robert Quinn gone, it's a lot of younger guys. It's a lot of guys trying to figure out where they are in their careers. I know Eddie Jackson's a veteran. They got some veteran guys, but you look at Brisker and some of these younger folks, they're trying to figure out where they are in the career and what kind of defense they want to be. And having a guy like Sanborn flying around, making plays, honestly, he reminds me a lot of Zach Thomas, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, who kind of was underappreciated coming out of college as well, who obviously was just a tackling machine and an ultra competitor for Miami for a very long time. I think he's another one of those guys. And we've talked about the Bears and how well they draft linebacker just historically. To me, I think it's just kind of poetic justice that I think they got another gem here, and it wasn't even a guy they drafted. An undrafted rookie comes in as the next great Chicago Bears linebacker. Either way, I think the Bears have an absolute gem in Sanborn, and I think he's only going to get better.